India is buying urgently 111 military combat helicopters for the Indian Navy, while the United Kingdom sending its aircraft carrier fleet to the Indo Pacific to counter China. Amid the ongoing border war between India and China, last month the Indian Navy leased two Sea Guardian drones from the American giant General Atomics for intelligence gathering, surveillance, and reconnaissance over the Indian Ocean. With increased Chinese People's Liberation Army's activity in the region, the need for the drone has increased to keep an eye on the enemy. As earlier in 2019, India had rented Akla Class 1 nuclear-powered attack submarine from Russia for 10 years at a $3 billion lease. Russia will deliver the Akla Class 1 submarine, to be known as the Chakra 3, to the Indian Navy by 2025. Now India is looking for the military helicopters with the combat capability. Besides, the UK and China ties are going through a rough phase over the issues related to the Hong Kong. Now the United Kingdom sending its aircraft carrier fleet to Indo Pacific region to counter China. The British Navy strike group comprises a total of 9 ships, 15 fighter jets, which includes F-35s, 11 helicopters, and 3,000 personnel. It is expected to conduct joint exercises with the US military and Japanese self-defense forces during its stay in the areas, including off the Nansei Island chain in southwestern Japan, reported by the Kaido news agency. While the Indian Navy has approached foreign vendors to inquire about short-term lease of helicopters that can be used to transport supplies and personnel between ships with a secondary surveillance role, reported by the Economic Times. It further said that the helicopters will later be rectified with light weapons by the Indian Navy as per its requirement, adding that the helicopter will likely be active with only machine guns during the leased phase. Indian Navy currently possesses the multi-role Chetak choppers, or the helicopters that were first delivered in 1965 and have been the backbone of the search and rescue, casualty evacuation route transport role operations. However, the Navy is now looking to replace the aging fleet of choppers. While the Indian Navy is already operating the ALH in the utility role, it requires 111 helicopters for the deployment on board ships to carry out multiple roles, including the surveillance and ferrying supplies. The requirement is urgently, and specified helicopter is needed that can be quickly deployed and retrieved and can be stored in the space-constrained hangar on board on all vessels. The Navy has rejected the contract of the Advanced Light Helicopters, or the ALH, by the Hindustan Aeronautical Limited, as it does not meet its requirement. The process to acquire the helicopters is already in the advanced stages. 4 Indian companies shortlisted who can partner with a foreign technology provider to make the helicopters domestically. And according to the sources, that during the dispatch, the British Navy plans to conduct maintenance on carrier-based F-35 stealth fighter jets, reported by the Kaido news agency. According to the British Navy, the carrier weighing 65,000 tons and measuring 280 meters in length is the largest and the most powerful vessel ever constructed for the British Navy. The news also reported and have suggested that earlier this year, £3 billion aircraft carrier underwent a sea and flight trials for the 70 days ahead of its maiden deployment in 2021. So what do you think of India buying urgently 111 military helicopters for the Indian Navy, while the United Kingdom is sending aircraft carrier fleet to the Indo Pacific to counter China and indirectly helping India? India-UK on a historical pact of signing the military pact against China. India crossed the LAC and captured 7 heights to bring China to the table, says an Indian official. India and therefore the UK is within the final stage of agreeing on a key defence logistical pact, reflecting a policy shift in London because the Boris Johnson government finalizes its once-in-a-generation integrated review of Britain's policy, defence and international development within the post-Brexit world. Experts say the MOA is a component of replacement approach to India, and Asia, which will be outlined within the high-level review to be released in November of 2020. Because the UK prepares for the future outside the ECU or the European Union from January 1. The review intended to require under consideration the present and the projected domestic and the global context in 2030. Was commissioned by the Johnsons as a policy-led, evidence-driven, a whole of a government process going beyond the parameters of a standard defense and security reviews. The official announcement on Wednesday last week that the Defense Logistical Pact is within the final stage of the agreement between the New Delhi and London is a component of several defense-related deliverables within the pipeline. It's seen as the London starting to move beyond attempts to balance the relationships. For long, the United Kingdom has tried to balance the relationship between China and therefore the US, also as India and Pakistan. Such a defense logistical pact or the military pact or a military-based agreement pact offered clarity on intent. The United Kingdom is increasingly wary of China and is likely to let Pakistan sensitives hinder a very strategic partnership with India, something that has been the case for several years. Indicating that India would emerge as a key theme within the UK's post-Brexit worldview, John Thompson, acting diplomat of United Kingdom to the India, said during a recent webinar that India will come through as very stronger theme within the integrated review. The Defense Logistical Pact unlikely to be challenged by the Labour Party under the Keir Starmer leadership, who has also emulated the party's stand on Kashmir more to India's liking. Will set a replacement, more collaborative tone between India and therefore the UK. India crossed the line of actual control or the LAC in Ladakh at 7 places. A highly placed source has been quoted within the Indian Express as saying, the report says that the Indian forces crossed the LAC to counter the trans-aggression by the People Liberation Army into the Indian territory. We have crossed over 7 places or 7 heights. Why does one think China remains at the negotiation table, said an Indian official, hinting that the action taken by the Indian forces has forced the Chinese to return to the negotiation table. The Express also reports that added that India has refused to vacate the heights it took control of in the late August within the region of South Pangong Lake. New Delhi also has said that it will not stop infrastructure development in the border areas in any future. So what do you think of India and UK on a historical pact of military-based agreement against China, and India crossed deliberately against LAC and captured 7 heights to bring China to the negotiation table?